Question 29b for 12 marks asks you to analyse ways that heat and cold can be used to promote rehabilitation from soft tissue injury. So the key term we are looking at here is analyse, and the syllabus area that we're addressing is the use of heat and cold because it comes under rehabilitation strategy. So let's just have a look at the syllabus and have a look at the dot point. And you can see here we've got all these syllabus dot points, and right down the bottom here we have, under rehabilitation procedures, the use of heat and cold. Now you might think it's a bit harsh to ask 12 marks on just a small dot point, but that can happen in the HSC. So this question was really good practice for you guys to test out your knowledge and your ability to actually address a particular question. Let's have a look at the marking guidelines now. Okay, you can see here, for the 12 marks, clearly you need to analyse ways that heat and cold can be used to promote rehabilitation from soft tissue injury. You can see here we've said analyses. Obviously the question has asked you to analyse the way that heat and cold can be used to promote rehabilitation. So if you haven't analysed, you can see here immediately that takes you out of the 10, 11, 12 marks out of 12 and drops you down to a maximum of 9. If you did not analyse, if you just described at best, the most you could have gotten for this question is 9. And obviously with this question, it's split into two, into heat and cold. So you're analysing the way heat can be used to promote rehabilitation, and you're also analysing the way cold can be used to promote rehabilitation from soft tissue injury. Let's just have a look now at what the actual term analyse means in the context of this question. So to analyse means to draw out and relate implications. So in the context of this question, you are drawing out and relating implications of the various methods of heat and cold that are used to promote rehabilitation from soft tissue injury. So putting that into plain English, you need to name the various methods that are used and also state which stage of rehabilitation they would be used in. The analysis part is then done by outlining exactly what that particular method does and why that would promote rehabilitation from a soft tissue injury. So not outlining it. Outlining it would be saying what is used or name the various methods used and what it does. The analysis bit comes here. Why is that going to promote rehabilitation? So as I said, this question can be split in two, with half being on heat, half being on cold. So I've just got an example of one half of the answer, and that is of cold, and which is also known as cryotherapy. Some people wrote in their answer that cryotherapy was also another part of cold treatment, but it is actually the term cold can also mean cryotherapy. So by naming the various methods used is what we've done here. Okay, we've named the methods used by ice pack, ice bag. You can read the other three. We've then stated when it would be used, done in the first 2 to 3 days after an injury as part of the RISA method. No need to go into massive detail on what RISA stands for. You could have just said RISA means rest, ice, compression, elevation, referral. The more advanced students as well acknowledge that cold is also used following an exercise or a training session as part of the rehabilitation process. So that may be a week, 2, 3 weeks down the track or even longer. So it's not only used in the initial stages, but it is also used down the track after exercising. Now, you needed to say what this cryotherapy actually does, and you can see here that it assists in decreasing swelling, decreasing circulation to the injured site, decreasing pain, decreasing scar tissue formation, and it decreases the chance of a muscle spasm, amongst other things. If the question was just an outline or even describe, then by doing that, by naming the methods used, when it's used, and then saying what the benefits are, you would have described that. You would have outlined the use of cold here. But the question asks you to analyse. So what it means is you need to take this information and say why that is a good thing. So over the page here, I've got examples of how the analysis can be done. And by stating something along the lines of, these physiological effects of cryotherapy promote rehabilitation from a soft tissue injury because when swelling is decreased, it minimises the amount of damage done, therefore aiding recovery. By decreasing the amount of scar tissue, it means when the area heals, you can maintain its strength and flexibility, thus aiding the rehabilitation process and decreasing the chance of re-injury. Also, by decreasing the chance of a muscle spasm, this aids in reducing blood flow to the specific area, which in turn reduces swelling, which in turn minimises the amount of damage done, which in turn will then promote rehabilitation from a soft tissue injury. So that's just an example of half of the answer to do with the use of cold. Most of you guys are able to identify use of cold, use of heat, but you just weren't able to analyse. So this whole page here relates to the analysis part of the question.